I am Margot Shaw. I'm the editor-in-chief of Flower Magazine, and I'm here today. I have the wonderful good fortune of visiting with Charlotte Moss, who needs no introduction, but I'm going to go ahead and do a little intro. Charlotte is a Virginian by birth and a Southerner, which we love. And she's in East Hampton right now. And she is a contributing editor for Flower and has, I think, 10 books, working on 11. Is that correct, Charlotte?
Yes, ma'am.
Due out in September?
No, it's due in September.
Oh, so we'll see it next 21 sometime. Okay. And Charlotte is an interior designer, first and foremost, extraordinaire, but also a gardener and floral arranger. If any of you follow her, you will note that most of her posts have beautiful flowers and beautiful arrangements and beautiful containers. So she is gifted across the spectrum, and she's very involved in promoting Feeding the Hungry. Is it No Kid Hungry, Charlotte?
Yeah.
And Feeding America. Right now, those are a couple of her major passions. And the way that Charlotte has contributed and made a big difference today is through challenges that she has come up with on social media. All different kinds of challenges, and she has raised a good bit of money and helped a lot of people. So thank you, Charlotte. Bless you. Just made a difference. And isn't that great that we can do that just from our homes, because a lot of us are in our homes.
It's incredible. It's incredible, the reach, and also just the energy and the response that we've been able to get, which has been fantastic. And we all needed something very positive to focus on that was outside of our everyday everything. And my team was really responsible. I mean, I came up with the idea to do challenges. They jumped and started coming up with themes. And then we came up with prizes. And then people called us and said, we'll give you a prize to give away. And, it snowballed. So it's been fun. It's been fun.
Well, it's a gift, really, aside from helping, Feeding the Hungry and No Kid Hungry and all of those, Feeding America, to stir in us our creativity, Charlotte, to inspire everyone who's been at home to, you know what, you can do needlepoint. You can make a collage. You can dream about the trip that you're going to take when
next year
the fog lifts, and just keeping us in touch with beauty, which you and I agree is so important. And we can let's talk about that a little bit. Your take on beauty.
Oh gosh, I mean, how do you even describe it? I mean, I just think that ever since I was a child, I can't imagine not being drawn to it. I can't imagine not wanting, I was like this little enhancer around the household. I was always trying to make something better, and so it's always been important for me visually. If I'm sitting at the table and, my husband comes down and some papers on the table at lunchtime, I just go, please move the papers. Yeah. There's no place on this table setting. It's ruining my visual, and we're not any business at the lunch table today. I just there's like visual chaos. I need that out of the picture.
Yeah, it's not the office, it's lunch.
Lunch, yes.
Lunchtime. Yeah, I'm the same way. Gates comes in from the farm and puts his little knapsack on the kitchen table, and I have a pretty French provincial kitchen table, and he just blazes stuff across, and I'm like, get that out of here.
Yes.
There's a place for that, but it's not the kitchen table. And you and I have talked so much about beauty and the salutary qualities and just how life-giving it is. And I'm looking at that tapestry behind you, which, can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh gosh.
a Gobelin or anyway, it looks
Um,
like a garden.
Brussels weave, I bought it in France years ago and used it in our living room in Aspen. And then when we sold the house, I took it to New York. And then, oh, it's really traveled well.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in the dining room. And then I found one I really adored at Julia Boston in London. And so this ended up here. So it's going no further. This is where it.
Okay, so it can be told. That tapestry will be there. And I just love it because it's, I mean, in contrast to my garden here that I have behind me, kidding, it's Newton Gardens in California. But I love it because it's so evocative and it looks like the Garden of Eden or something. It's lush and just really makes me want to stare into it and live into it, just kind of like this behind me. So let's talk about gardens, Charlotte. Let's talk about your garden in East Hampton, which we love so much. What's going on there right now?
Well, this has been an extraordinary season. I mean, this sort of forced lockdown, because I've gone from watching the garden be totally gray to little green buds, now totally leafed out, and everything blooming. I mean, I think the irises are just about finished, maybe another week. And the roses are coming on so unbelievably strong. And we had a mild winter. So I think it's going to be just spectacular in the roses. So everyone's going to get really bored looking at my Instagram.
Ever.
But this is the moment. You have to seize it, and just, you want to go out and just stuff your face in them. They're so wonderful. And I'm photographing a lot of them for my book, and I have new varieties. We have, I don't know, a couple hundred varieties now, and they're becoming my new summer friends.
They're like your children.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, we love seeing them, and so don't hesitate, please.
Well, they all have these different qualities, Margot. I mean, there's some that are really bodacious and multi-petaled, and
Great word.
some, like Sally Holmes, have 5 petals. So I love the mix of it's sort of like the yin and yang of roses.
Yeah, Birmingham is so hot that we can't really grow peonies, but we can still grow roses. And so my husband is the rose grower, and y'all have a lot in common in that he brings them in and I arrange them, and it just changes everything, doesn't it?
Changes everything.
So let's talk a little bit about a day in the life of Charlotte Moss right now in Q-Town. Where are you? So you're not going into the city at all?
I've been in once.
Yeah.
For a day and a half, and going in again in another 2 weeks. And then hopefully things will loosen up in New York. I mean, they're starting to loosen up now. Hopefully my staff will be able to get back to the office. It's been an interesting journey, I think, for all of us to be at home and to have the time to do things, think about things, look at things totally differently from the way we have looked at them in the past. And, like I said, I feel really blessed to have been here to watch the garden just happen, because ordinarily I'd just be here on the weekends.
That's right. That's such a good point.
Oh, just to be a party to the process and to be here and watch it happen has been fantastic. But, the days are totally different. I'm usually getting up, looking at the newspapers, having breakfast, blasting out the door, and going to the office.
Right.
And now I get up and I go into the exercise room, and my husband and I do stretching together. And then we go to breakfast, and then I let the dogs out and I walk around the garden with my coffee and the dogs and and then I come back and attack the day and do what I have to do. So the days have been filled with work, filled with writing the book, talking to you.
It's been such fun.
I've done a number of these and some podcasts and things, and that's been an interesting experience because it's just a way for us to communicate. And I've done a lot of reading. I've done needle pointing that I haven't done forever, but I do that while I watch television. I ride my bike a lot. So in the evenings, we either take a long walk with the dogs, work out, or I ride my bike for about an hour. And it's such a great head clear at the end of the day to just take off and go through the country. I see wild turkeys, those little pesky rabbits that, you know, if I catch them near my roses, I'll strangle them with my own hands. And the deer, it's been terrific. I will say that it is really fraught with a whole other group of challenges, though, because you're sitting in one place so much on the phone. I mean, God bless Zoom in a way. It has really been able to let have meetings with clients and put the drawings up on the screen and really be productive still in that way. So I've had more time with my husband. I never have lunch with my husband except on weekends. So, and we haven't killed each other yet. So everything's groovy, Margot.
That is good to hear, Charlotte. Where is he, by the way?
He's on the golf course this morning. It's his first game of golf all season. He's thrilled.
Good for him. Good for him. So speaking of being at home, which of course a lot of us are still, as you've gotten to be inside, are there some places that you've discovered or rediscovered in your house that you thought, gosh, I'd forgotten all about that corner, or I'd forgotten all about that chair, or just a spot that maybe you'd ignored just blowing out the door and that you now have a renewed love for?
Well, because I'm in East Hampton, I don't really blow out the door here.
That's right. That's true.
Let it take a beeline at night to catch the light in the garden and do photography. That's the only time I really bolt out the door. But when I'm here, I'm very relaxed. I will say that I've spent more time looking at my guest rooms to think about switching them up. I'm praying I will have some guests in August. And I haven't really ignored any place. I do have this one room, though, truth be told, in the basement that we store. And it's where I buy things and send them, or I de-accession from the rooms and I put it down there. And I haven't been in there since we've been in lockdown, which is incredible restraint for me. So that is the room that I will go down and rediscover some beauties down there. But I will not let myself go down there now because it's like going down the rabbit hole. And I'm down there for hours and, where's this going and where's that going? And I'll give this to my niece and this to my sister. It's very time consuming. So I'm actually pretty proud of myself that I've exercised such restraint.
That is admirable.
Real restraint. But, I've found I have a studio off of my bedroom where my collage table is and my desk and a little napping bed. And I find that even though it looks into the garden, I feel disconnected from everything in the house. Now that's a good thing sometimes because I really want to be disconnected and go right. But I set myself up on our screened porch, the garden room. And that's where I have my office. So I can walk directly into the garden to take a break between calls. And it's been fabulous to be able to do that. Really fabulous too. But just to embrace grass, I mean, it's really, I'm grass.
No. I do know. There's something about that garden. There's something about that green. I mean, I'm in Birmingham and it's been raining all spring. And so our gardens are just, they're overgrown almost. They're so lush. And it's really, even though I've been at home, I haven't felt, bound. I have really seen just this life-giving, beautiful green, and it just makes a big difference. All right, I'm not hearing Charlotte. Charlotte?
You're not hearing me?
Okay. You said something and I didn't hear it. So,
I agree with you, Margot, of course.
so let's talk a little, not business, but get a little bit businessy and talk about maybe how your take on design may have changed through all this time at home. Are there some new ideas that you want to try? Are there some designs that have been inspired by your looking out into the garden from your studio? Or just, what are you thinking?
You know, right now it's just staying on top of projects that's been the most important. I haven't been thinking about any creative projects outside of my book. I am working on another project that is charity related. That will be a book that we'll announce probably in another month or so.
Okay.
And you know, I don't think that it's really been altered in any way. You know, like you mean my aesthetic or something?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, you know, like for me, I've gotten very nostalgic. I've been watching some Doris Day movies, which remind me so much of my mother. And she was so much chicer than me and a lot of people that I know. And I just am really referencing her style and the simplicity of mid-century. And I don't know, just, and so I'm starting, Gates and I are building a house and I'm starting to look at things like that. Like, what did my mother have that I want to grab and reinterpret and put in our farmhouse or on our patio?
That's very interesting. I haven't felt the nostalgia. What I have felt is I've really examined the things that I have. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm going to go through a period of serious edit. I do think that this period has made us think about the things that are important.
Right.
It's helped us reestablish some priorities, whether it's, you know, in our decorating or with ourself, with our person, those priorities. I mean, I know for me that I've slowed down because I'm not dashing out that door. I don't come home from work, put on a cocktail dress and go to a reception or a gallery opening. There's none of that. And I won't call it superfluous, but all of those other activities, they just went ta-ta. Now we're just focused in the moment. And I think, you know, there are going to be efficiencies that will come out of this. Better life balance for sure.
I think so too. I love that, and I hadn't really thought, of course we're not going to parties. We're not going to gallery openings or fundraisers or any of that. And I miss that only because I'm an extrovert. You know, I don't
miss people.
Yeah, I don't miss dressing up. I don't miss staying out. I don't miss, you know, I just miss people. And let's face it, this is close, but not the same.
No, it's not the same. Just to be able to be in that same space with that person and to interact. I mean, I'm sitting here in the room with all these other distractions in the room looking at a little teeny screen.
I know.
Not to be compared.
I know. And we're found wanting, but this is what we got. So tell us about your book. Can you tell us about your book?
Margot, this is right up your street, honey.
Yay.
The title is Charlotte Moss on Flowers. There's history and there's women and there's, you know, famous paintings that have inspired me and 10 years of flower arranging.
I can't believe you didn't tell me about this. This is so exciting.
Well, I was waiting until it got a little more baked, you know.
Okay. You're telling me now.
I'm telling you.
I can't wait to see it. I'm assuming it's a Rissole title?
Yes.
Okay.
No one else Rissole.
Okay. All right. So you're working on that now and you're photographing some of your flowers for the book?
Well, I mean, I've been photographing for 10 years, so that's going to be, you know, a lot that we photographed over the years. And that's really where it came about. the subject. We've got the plans to do another decorating book down the road here, but I've had so many positive responses through Instagram about the marriage of containers and flowers, and how you pick them, and why'd you pick that one, and sometimes it's a reason, and sometimes it's just because it was close. It's as easy as that, and it shouldn't be more difficult than that. And it's all part of that beauty. The importance of beauty in our life is that we can create a flower arrangement, something small and ephemeral, and then we can do a room in a house. There's so many different types, and that allow us also to express ourselves. And I just think that's just such an easy way for people to express themselves through beauty at home.
Yes, you are preaching to the choir on that, as you know.
I know that.
Okay, I want to talk to you briefly about what's next in terms of, since you were not able to do your garden chateau tour this spring, where's the first place you want to go once the lockdown is lifted?
Oh, you must have been talking to Barry, because we talked about that at dinner last night.
Yes, you don't know about our little relationship where we talk every night about what y'all had for dinner. No, go ahead.
So, we have this trip planned that we missed to do French gardens and rose gardens with Stephen Scaniello with Indigare. So I'm hoping that all takes place next year. And to go to Chaumont and to go to Corson will just be, we really missed that this year, I posted a video on Instagram of the Chelsea Flower Show, and because we're missing these things, So I think outside of that trip, I would love to be on a boat doing Greece.
Huh.
Yeah. I see that as a great palate cleanser before I jump right into villas and chateaus again.
Interesting.
And I haven't done it that way. So we're both sort of excited about that prospect.
So kind of going back to the root, the font of all European design. Yeah. Everything. Yeah.
And I think, just aesthetically, thinking about editing and thinking about what's important. And we've just bought a house in Virginia, and that's very exciting. And so I've got a new garden to plan and a new house to plan. It's really making me think about where's my head now. Not where is it now in this room, because this room is before, but now.
Yeah. What's important, what's essential, that term non-essential businesses, et cetera, which in my mind, they're all essential. But anyway, but just kind of the distilling of our lives to say, you know what, I really didn't need to be in that club, or I really didn't need that many dresses, or I don't need that much furniture. This is a new canvas. What can I eliminate?
It's a new canvas. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that.
Well, can you say a little bit more about the house? Just this, not where it is, but just it's in the country in Virginia.
It's in Charlottesville.
Wahoo!
I still have a lot of family in Virginia, and my two nieces that were living in New York and working as young career girls now have moved back to, one's in Washington and one's in Charlottesville. So, I told them I'm following them.
Yeah.
But it's home, it's home.
It's home. And just on that note, can you talk a little bit about your involvement with Monticello?
Well, this is my last year as a trustee, 9 years of being on the board. And it's a very sad moment for me, trying to think of all the things that I'm involved with there, and how I max out my last year, so to speak. we're doing a new book, which is very exciting, about Monticello, with essays with great writers, and work on the retail committee there because we have a very big gift shop. But and I run the nominating and governance committee. So at the end of this calendar year, that all goes bye-bye, and I will have a different status after that.
You're gonna have to relinquish all that power.
Oh, relinquish power and the work that went with that power. So I'll be on the outside looking in.
Well, I know, I went to college in Virginia in Roanoke and spent a good bit of time in Charlottesville and visited Monticello several times and have post-college as well. And what a magical place that is. Just thank you so much for all you've done to preserve that and enhance that.
Well, I knew where you spent your time, Margot. You spent it at fraternity parties at UVA, right?
Hey now. We'll talk about that later.
Other time.
Yeah, well, I just love that part of the world. I really do. And whenever I go back, it's kind of like I do have some ancestors from Virginia, and I feel like, I'm home. It just feels good in my soul. So we have that in common. But I think it's so important that you've been that involved, and so important to preserve the past, the good things. And Monticello is just a perfect example of a Renaissance man, flawed, brilliant, creative, brave, and all that he did. I mean, just the gardens alone and all his efforts, the sort of just the adventurousness and the experiments that he did in the garden, just kind of he was brave in the garden. He would,
I think one of the biggest takeaways, whether it's Jefferson or George Washington, was the fact that they were great experimenters. And when you think about the founding fathers being gardeners,
right.
I know a lot of guys don't garden. Wouldn't that's for somebody else, but look what they were doing at the same time.
And such a sort of metaphor also, and not to get too profound and woo-woo, but it's important. It's important what you've done and what you're doing, Charlotte, in every way. And I just want to thank you for the time and effort and energy and love that you have poured into this world to making it more beautiful. And thank you for joining us today and for chatting with us and sharing your life right here in the middle of this surreal season that we're in. I can't wait to see you face to face, give you a hug. Who knows when that'll be, but I look forward to it.
And best to Gates.
And Barry.
Yeah, okay.
Hope he has a good round. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye.